Hey guys, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I take as my bug out bag or whatever you want to call it whenever we go overlanding. So this is my backpack. I like to store everything in an actual hiking backpack because it can fit a lot in it, and you can fit like everything that you need to survive for a couple days in a bag that you can just throw over your shoulder. So this is the bag I use. It's got a bunch of different compartments that I'll go over in a little bit. So I'll just go over what I put in my bag and just kind of where I store it and just a little theory of why I store things in certain places. So here we go. The first thing we'll talk about is on this bag, it has straps on the very top of it to mount your tent or whatever. You can also store like hiking sticks or walking sticks on the top. So this is the tent I use. It's just a small 2-man backpacking tent. It's literally 2 poles, and it says 2-man, but that's if you're getting really close and snuggled up to each other. But it's a really cool tent. The next thing is on this bag, this top portion of it zips off, so that way I could take it on the go. Like if I do a small day hike outside of where our base camp is, I could take it on the go. And it unzips to a fanny pack. The things that I store in here are I was in Boy Scouts, I'm an Eagle Scout, and so what I like to store in here are what we would call the 10 essentials. So I've got my first aid kit in here. I've got a couple things for like repellent. I've got this that will cover your head from mosquitoes, and then a bug repellent spray as well. I've got a couple sources of fire starters. It matches here. I have a very important essential, which is toilet paper. Because you just need that when you're out in the woods. Leaves are not always the best, most comfortable choice. This is just my little rope bracelet. It's just an emergency set of rope, compass, and a map. Usually before a trip, we'll get a map of the area that we're planning on going to, and a map and compass are they work sometimes better than it's a good backup if you're not using a GPS, or if you are using a GPS. A compass and map aren't going to die. We have a flashlight here. This one is, I believe, 1200 lumens. It's super bright, and it can focus. It's got adjustable focus. It's got an SOS signal, adjustable brightness. It's an awesome light. And then I have a secondary light that isn't powered off a battery. It's just a wind-up crank light. I've also got an emergency blanket, some tablets for water treatment. I've also got a filter in here that I'll show in a little bit, but these are just some iodine tablets for your water. I've got a flint and steel fire starter, which you can use your knife to spark with, and then it's a good fire starter. And then my pocket knife. So that's everything that I keep in my 10 essentials. Next on my backpack, I store several carabiners. I have 4 large carabiners. I don't usually go climbing or anything like that, but you never know what you're gonna need. So they sell different styles of carabiners. So when you buy them, I recommend buying ones that are rated for climbing, just because you never know what you're going to use them for, and the other ones, the smaller ones, might break. So I've got 4 here, and then I've got 2 bundles of 50-foot paracord, and then let me open this up. I've got this other section here on my backpack that comes off, and it's a camelback. So this comes off, and then it's a little backpack with straps, and inside is a Nalgene Camelback bladder. So that way I can fill it up with my water and just store it on my back. It's great when I do little day hikes. I can have this on my back, my 10 essentials around my waist, and go for a little day hike out of camp. Inside here, I've got my tarp. This is good for just ground cover or whatever else you can, some sort of shelter if you don't have a tent. I've got extra clothes in here as well. Extra underwear and socks, those are important. An emergency blanket here, keep you warm. I store inside here, I have a little side pouch where I store my hatchet inside, just because this one that I have doesn't have a sheath or anything, and I've already cut myself once on it with it being outside of my bag. So now I store it inside because there's a pocket that'll keep it all covered up so I don't cut myself. I've got this Msr Water Purifier. It's super cool. It screws on right onto my Nalgene bottle, which I have here. This Nalgene bottle screws on right to the bottom. You just put the end into any like moving stream of water, and you just pump it and it filters through some fresh water for you to drink, safe water for you to drink. I've also got here a little, I bought this tackle box that's sealed so it's waterproof, and what I stored inside of it are all of my fire starters. I've got several different fire starters that I can use for different things. There's a little tinder in here, these little things called wet fire. You can just stick it in the fire. They're super small. You leave them in the wrapper and light them up, and they'll light even if it's raining or wet outside. And then these little easy fires, the same thing. You leave it in the packet, just light it up, and it lasts for a while to help you get a fire started. That's that. The other thing that I've got in here is I've got a couple freeze-dried food options. It's just food in a bag that you just add water to. It's really nice when you don't know what you're going to be able to pack in. If you're not able to pack in anything that's perishable, this is really easy, super light too to take if you're backpacking. Because my backpack in total with everything in it weighs under 50 pounds. It weighs about 40 actually. So saving weight, especially if you don't know how far you're going to be carrying it, is ideal. I've also got this mess kit here, which opens up, and there's a pot, there's a cup, there's a plate, and a spork in there as well. And then one of my favorite things is this little pocket rocket, as it's called by Msr. This little guy, this is the fuel for him. It's super small, super cheap too to refill fuel, and then just screws on to the top here, and these open up for your pot to sit on, and it boils water in under 2 minutes. It's literally a little pocket rocket. And then the last thing that I want to show you is in the very bottom I have a compartment, and that's where I store my sleeping bag. So I've got a super compact sleeping bag. It's rated for 20 degrees or above, and it just fits right into the bottom of my backpack. It's super small. I mean, when you compare it to something like my hatchet here, I mean, it's really small. And that concludes everything that's in this guy. The idea when you're packing it, one of the things that you really want to do is you want to keep all of your weight balanced, and so that's why you don't want it to be top heavy. So a lot of the heavier things, like my sleeping bag, is probably one of the heaviest thing on its own that's in my bag. So that's why it's stored at the bottom, and then you just kind of work your way up because you don't want it to be top heavy, and then you don't want anything to be heavy on either side to make it feel heavier when you're walking with this on your backpack. So that's kind of the idea in packing it all, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.